I still have a picture
Toby the
of
Radio Guy
wearing the thing,
podcast.
and I remember I loved myself at that era, man, because I was in my element. And you know what was weird, right? Like I said, I used to look at people who were like, people wouldn't really like. So when Akon came out, you know, Akon never really wore too much baggy. So it wasn't fitted, but was all right, or it looked all right.
Yeah.
So I started dressing like that.
Just like Akon.
Yeah, so when people, listen, I don't think, I'll find the picture. I have this picture where I was wearing a yellow t-shirt and a yellow jumper. And I think I had yellow shoes. Trust me.
This jumper.
It was a sleeveless jumper.
That was a very strange time in fashion.
Ah, nah, man.
I like the way fashion is now. Like, that was a very strange...
Speaking of a strange time in fashion, you know one thing girls used to wear that I never liked?
What?
You probably wore them also. Remember when girls used to wear the flat shoes? They were flat. They look like a canoe. And they used to sell them in pennies. They were the flats.
Is
it was black.
Because I remember there was that time...
Loads of girls used to wear them to church.
I remember the time, you know, like plimsolls, those like fake Converse. I remember the time that was raining.
The white
that was
ones.
five year.
€5.
I that's what I used to wear to school, and I used to like skip
You were allowed
class.
to wear
Yeah, I used to skip class to go get like a few pairs, like because they were 5 year and they were so like, and they were comfortable and so. Funny enough, I actually went to Penny's recently to see if I could find them again for work.
For work, yeah.
Yeah, because they're comfortable. They were the most comfortable, but they break so easily.
Say, don't pull out in them. You know what was horrible about them, right? Is when it rains.
Yeah.
Hey, it was gone.
I'm even thinking about it now because
look at me then. Wow. See, man, bruv, I still had the chain, man. I missed that chain, man. I missed that chain, man.
Oh my god,
I missed that chain, man. Back then, fashion was.
But you know, it's crazy because I remember that was the time of before we all joined Facebook. That was the time of before Bebo.
Hey.
And I was thinking about the hairstyles I used to do. Remember when the girls used to have those like massive fringe? Like you coming from one side of your head to the other side, and before
was it Rihanna who brought that in? Was it Rihanna?
I think it was kind of like emo-ish, and then you'd coming from one side to the other side, and then you remember when the girls have like massive big, they puff up the ponytail and stuff.
Nah, girls.
Do you know how I started doing that fringe? Yeah, because of Michelle. She used to do it with her natural hair. She'd come from one side, and I was like. Oh, it's cool, yeah.
I would do that too.
I was like, that's a bit nice, still, you know. let me have, you know. And then you do pick and drop as well. Like before we knew what front, like if you were big, if you had Brazilian hair. Like now that everyone's wearing like Brazilian, Cambodian, but if you had like weave and it was Cambodian hair, like you were big.
You
like,
had money then.
You were rich, like, you know, coming to school with like Brazilian hair, like.
I remember when Brazilian hair was a thing. I remember it was like the girl had to have someone who was a rich guy to get it for her.
It was a big thing because back then people were like, oh, like each bundle, like a whole bunch of everything's like €600. And if you saw a girl with Brazilian, you were like, wow. Because we were still using the stiff like weaves and stuff, which was like, you know, it's kind of, when you think about it now, it's really stiff, like, and then you pack it in a tiny ponytail and then be poking at the back.
Nah, yeah, it wasn't like the Brazil.
No, there was no closures, there was nothing. It was just, the weave wasn't that bad, it wasn't that great, and then you'd wear a foundation that wasn't your shade. Let me tell you this, I think it was either my 14th or my 15th birthday, yeah. That was time when, you know those shoes, you know Russell Simmons'
pastries.
So this is when pastries was raining, right? So we went to Foot Locker.
You know.
Foot Locker, and my mom bought me a black and a white pair.
Hey, like two.
You
got two pastries?
Tell me white and black. So on my 14th, it was my 14th or 15th birthday, yeah. And you know when you're trying to be nice African parents, it's my birthday, I cleaned the whole house, blah, blah, blah.
Hey.
And then I wasn't really allowed to wear makeup like that. So I bought like foundation out of like Boots, but the cheap one. But that day, me and my friends were going to town, and we were going to the cinema to watch, like, I think it was Drag Me to Hell or something like that. And then we were going to go to Jimmy Chong's after.
Hey, all you can eat.
Do you know what was weird? So that day, yeah, back then I used to have a thing for like dungarees, but like not like full dungarees, but like a skirt dungaree.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a dungaree, but a skirt.
The skirt.
So I got that day, and then I wore like black leggings, and then I put like a t-shirt underneath with my put my clips, did my hair, and I put on I think it was either my white or black pastries. Oh man, you couldn't say nothing to me. When my friends saw me, they were like, wow. They were like,
don't tell your mom for getting you 2 pairs.
They were like, wow.
Nah, you must have done something where she was like, let me just be nice to this child.
2 pastries that day. Because I remember my friend at that time, she was she was like big, everybody, and then she got like the pastries, and they were like colorful. She was the first one to have them.
Pastries.
And you know, because we just finished watching the show, I was like, wow, like pastries.
You got them.
And then my mom got me 2. I was like,
you're like, no one chat to me.
I went on my birthday. I think I wore the white one because I was like, I'm wearing too much dark colors. Let me just offset it. I remember I came downstairs. My mom was like, wow, you're wearing your new shoe. She's like, you're wearing your new shoe.
Yeah, I'm going out today.
You know, like I wanna even remember what I was even wearing that day. It's so embarrassing. Like, you know,
but it was
dungaree, skirt, dress.
It was fashion
leggings,
then, though.
But the leggings, and that was the time the girls used to wear dress with leggings.
Yeah.
So I'd wear like a black dress, and then I'd wear like leopard print, like, oh jeez.
Oh, the colorful leggings, yeah.
There's some pictures now, yeah, that I have to burn.
You're happy they didn't make it to Facebook.
And you know, it was back in the day when the music videos were raining, and then you know those waist belts.
I'm done.
I think it was either Beyonce or Shakira, yeah, that had this waist belt, like, and it was circular, and my mom bought it for me. Oh man!
You know what is weird though? When you think about it, then I don't know if people do it, if young people do it now, but I feel like then we used to dress like what we saw in music videos.
We were influenced. Yeah. Remember, Crazy in Love, Beyonce. Is it Crazy in Love, Beyonce? And she wore. Is it Crazy in Love, Beyonce? She wore these Timberland boots, high heel. Was it Crazy in Love?
Was it not
but
the
it
one
was
with
Timberland
Lil Wayne?
boots. Yeah, that had a heel.
Wasn't I'm a Soldier or something? The one with Lil Wayne.
I don't know if it was that. I don't know, but it was a big music video, and there were these Timberland boots, and they had a heel.
Yeah.
They were pointy in the front. Yeah. And then I think J-Lo also had a music video, and she had them as well. And my mom bought them for me.
Right, your mom used to nice you, man.
I remember because I was living in London then, and
that's why you didn't get any of your benefits, man. she was nice to you.
I was living in London then, yeah. And then my mom came over to visit, and my mom brought me these Beyonce boots. And my older sister, she was jealous.
Obviously.
She was pained. Yeah. Man, I wore those boots. I never wanted to, because my mom came like on Friday, and I went to church on Sunday. And then, you know, when you go to Sunday school, the kids were like,
is that you? Yeah. Did you get that?
We're like,
yeah, aye.
What's that on your feet? I was like, you can't say nothing.
Timberland boots were big
with
though.
The heel. It was the one with the heel.
And I remember, because back then, this was weird, right? So when I was in Nigeria and my mom was here, and it was Christmas, obviously you say what you want, and my cousin, and I wouldn't lie, I feel like my cousin was the reason why I idolized Air Force Ones a lot, because he got a pair before me, and I remember my cousin wouldn't even let me touch them. He'd be like, don't touch my shoes. So this time, I told my mom I want a pair of Timberlands, because my cousin was getting Timberlands. So I was like, yeah, we're wearing these Timberlands, man. My mom got me food, but man, I remember I was so upset. I was like,
but you know, why did African parents do stuff like that?
You know, but you know what was weird, right? So my mom went to the shop, and I wish she actually showed me who the salesman was.
But I think they do. I think they do on purpose.
No, she actually wanted to buy the Timberland, but the sales guy, I think they didn't have my size or something, and the sales guy, obviously trying to get the sale, pushed the FUBU, saying, "Oh, they're similar." I was like, "Bruv, why you being a dickhead?" Like, because that was funny. Because what happened? I remember when I came here, I told her how upset I was. I was like, all I ever wanted, I've never asked you for anything, but just a pair of Timberlands. You got my FUBU, and she didn't understand. And I remember like a year or two
all
after,
I wanted in life was a
pair of Timberlands. And I remember the Foot Locker in Tala. I think we went to buy something in Tesco in Tala, and we're just buying. I was like, "Oh, mom, can I have a quick look?" And she's like, "Okay, yeah, let's go in." And most of the time, my young brother, he was always lucky. He'd got a new shoe because remember, you know, the kids' shoes were always cheaper. So like a kid's Air Force One would be like 25 euros, so she wouldn't mind paying. And I used to get pissed at, why are you buying this for him? You never bought them for me. And I remember there was this Timberland. That was when Timberland came up with a fold. where you could fold and I would never forget the price. It was $225. And my mom said, okay, if you want it, that's your Christmas gift. I remember I was like, wait, what? Like, you're gonna buy? See, you know when African parents, right? They want to do something, and last minute they change their mind. So I remember even when she was bringing out the cash, I was like, what? She's gonna be like, she was like, are you sure you want them? I was like, yeah. She was like, okay. I was like, I bet she's gonna be like, well, but you were not good in school. When you're good in school, and my mom paid, and I got the bag. Oi!
Couldn't say anything to him. I can tell that your chest that day, like the way you're probably walking around the square, like just like
you don't want to know what happened to those Timberlands, man. I went to a party in Tala, I wore the Timberlands. A fight broke out. I had to walk to Clondalkin on the Lewis line wearing my Timberland from Tala. Do you know how heavy Timberlands are? That was the last day I wore it. Till today, my mom doesn't know. I gave it to someone. A guy said, "Oh man, these Timberlands are nice." I was like, "If you want them, you can take them." Because I was so
225.
Yeah, I gave it away. Sorry, mom, if you ever watch this, but
you're very
I gave
wicked
them away because well, I got what I wanted out of Tim. Maybe she should have bought it for me when I wanted it back then. Because then I would have valued it.
You got the feeling of having them. Then 225 is a bit expensive though.
No, Timberlands are around that price, $225.
I mean, but for back then, like you
know, she paid a lot. I won't lie, but I got my anyways, I got the joy of the 225. That's what matters.
But even mentioning, because when I was living in London, I remember when we were buying school shoes, and I think then they were kickers. And African parents.
Wow, your mom was rich, man.
No, she didn't buy me. No, like African parents always look for the alternative, and then they'll be like, it's even better quality, but it wasn't the better quality. Because sometimes you just want Nike runners, and then your parents get you Reeboks. Like that's. I mean, it's nice, but you want to wear everyone. Exactly, you want to wear what everyone else is wearing. You know, you don't want to be that one person coming into school and everyone's like, "Right, like you're wearing Reeboks."
Yeah, like who wears that?
And it was probably even more expensive than what they're wearing. My mom used to say, like, why you want to be like other children?
That's what I hate about African parents.
I just want to, I want to be like the rest of them with their Nikes.
Why can't you be yourself? Excuse me.
I don't want to be myself. I don't want to be myself at this time.
I remember one time I said this to my mom. I got in trouble though. I think that was probably the first time I got kicked out of the house. We had an issue and she said, why can't you be yourself? I think it had to do with my friends getting a piercing or something. And all time the auntie, well, you're a bitch for doing this. So this auntie saw me and my friend in town, and he had his piercings.
Yeah.
But obviously his mom didn't know he had piercings yet. So what used to happen is my friend used to do this anytime an auntie was coming. But she had caught the earring.
What's she doing this?
To hide the earring, like, do you know what I mean? So she had caught that he had pierced his ear.
Yeah.
Now, me being Toby, I didn't really like piercings. But that day, you remember I think they used to pierce in, what's that girl, Clary's, isn't it?
Clary's.
Yeah, Clary's, yeah.
Because there was a time that we're doing it in that place, I think, is it George's Alley or something?
I don't know. It was that. Clary's is one of the sell. So the guy was trying to everyone was trying to persuade me to get one. But I didn't really like the idea of piercing my ear. So the guy goes, how about you get the magnetic, and if you don't like it, at least you know. So I got the magnetic. I was like, cool. We're in town. I didn't care. I was like, stick it on. Man stuck it on. This auntie's gone home and told my mom, yeah, they're pressing the ear. So I get home, my mom's like...
She probably added bits as well. They're getting tattoos, they press the eyebrow.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. That auntie done a lot, So now here's what's funny, right? Obviously, it's magnetic.
Yeah.
I've gotten home. There's no hole in my ear. I remember I got home and my mom's like, I was like, are you all right? And then she's pulling it and she's feeling it, but she can't see anything. And she's like, you pierced your ear. And I was like, fam, you just checked. Like, what are you on about? And you know what's funny? Have you ever seen an African auntie and I'm getting snitched on? Yeah, so we knew she was going to snitch on us. So I was like, no, I didn't. And she was like, yeah, well, this auntie said she saw you. And I said, yeah, my friend. I goes, yeah, he got it pierced. But that doesn't mean I'm going to get it pierced. And my mom was like, you have to be your own self. And I remember I was like, hold on a minute. Be my own self. Why you always buying them materials when all of you have the parties?
Wow,
And
see now, now the true story is coming out. Why they
and my mom flipped. I remember she tried to hit me. I left the house. I got kicked out to my uncle's house.
That's the true story.
I remember I was like, but let's be honest though. Don't tell me to be myself when you.
Yeah, but you know they can give,
materials,
but they can't take. Like they can give, but they can't take. Like
I remember that was one of the time. I remember I was like, yeah, it's gonna go left. Yeah, I remember I was like, yeah, you can't speak back to these ladies.
You can't, you know, it's funny because I have 2 younger sisters and they grew up here. But I grew up here as well.
But they have no filter, innit?
They don't have any filter.
They say
I think it's
anything.
because me and my older sister we kind of have like just kind of traditional.
You're more
values and
Africanized.
stuff.
That's
yeah.
what
my younger
kind of like
sisters,
manipulated your brain.
They don't care. Like
Yeah,
they will
say
they will say whatever.
I didn't even know in schools they tell kids about the number.
What
the social service number.
Did you?
My brother tried to call them before. And it was funny because it was around the time.
was the biggest one.
It was around the time a lady in the church, her boys got taken off her. And my mom had gone there, and I remember it was a big 10. I remember my brother tried to call. I was like, nah, you ain't going nowhere. Because he called because I hit him. And she was scared. But I was thinking, I was like, I bet you if I threatened her with that, it wasn't going to work.
No. Because they know with the older ones, you sometimes, you know, as much as they annoy you, you can still hold yourself back. You still have that kind of, you know... Like, I was actually having a conversation with somebody yesterday about this. I was like, you know, you still hold yourself back because you still kind of have those views, like those values. You're like, you know, you don't want to speak to your parents somehow. You don't want to blah, blah, blah. But the younger ones, they just don't care. Like, they
I
really
think it's
don't care.
they grew, and the thing is, see, when African aunties, right, get involved, like, one of the big things my mom used to use against me was she knew I didn't like the family people see me as a bad boy because they already saw me as a bad boy. So I used to try play good boy. So anytime I had an uncle who came all the way from America to talk to me. Yeah, I remember that. But I don't know if he did. I don't know if he came here on holiday and he just used that to threaten me. But basically he was like, you know, your mom's complaining to me. I had to come all the way from the United States, you know. I was like, really?
So what, you booked a flight?
You know that ones?
Just to come down. They used to, those African aunties and uncles.
So I feel like it's because we cared about those people, and while the younger ones did. Like, my brother's really good at this thing. Anytime he sees an African auntie, like, it's a close family, he'd be looking at them like, nah.
But you know what? I want to ask the question: what makes you an African auntie? Because if you think about it, we're getting older.
No, we're never gonna. I know,
but we're getting older, and to the younger generation,
we're like that.
We're those people.
I'm a cool African uncle.
We're those people. Like, so what makes you like an African auntie? Because we're not like, you know, in our teens anymore.
You
we're
look
getting
like
older.
an African auntie though. Do you judge the young ones?
Don't provoke me.
But do you judge the young ones?
I don't. I actually don't.
If you go to a nightclub and there's a young 18-year-old girl and her skirt is literally right at the bum line, don't lie. You're an African auntie, man.
I don't.
It's in your genes, you know.
It's not. It's
you
more.
Know, it's like a virus that's passed down.
You just maybe it's because you get older, you just become a little bit more cynical. You know, like there's some things I see on the internet and I'll send to Sean and I'm like, oh, look at this.
That's African
I'm
auntie.
Like, look at this, kids. Look at what they're doing these days.
So you're there. But I feel like your African auntie vibe won't be as high as the other ones.
Won't be as bad. Like, I won't be snitching. I won't be calling parents.
You won't be calling parents. You won't be like speaking to the kids in their face, like, oh, you're threatening them, that kind of thing. But
I don't think I was ever threatened by an African auntie before.
Yeah?
No.
Oh, I got threatened loads of times.
Like, they make snidey comments, like, you know, especially if they're talking about your weight, how you look.
Oh, yeah, girls used to get that one a lot.
Oh, I never forget the day this auntie saw me in Blanche and then she came to my house. This was when I was breaking out with really bad acne. She came to my house and then she told my mom, she's like, whatever she's eating, she needs to stop.
Hey.
Her acne is bad. Do you know your confidence is already low?
See them aunties,
and they're just coming to like really hurt you.
There's gonna be a room, not a room, like a proper warehouse in here for them aunties.
And you know, especially if you're feeling about your weight, and then especially my mom will have visitors, and just say you come into the living room with like a plate of food, like.
Yeah.
You're just
I won't lie, I felt bad for
like, what?
for girls because my sister got a bit, and I remember.
Like,
but you know what I hate
you know.
It's why our parents never stood up for us.
Because they're just the same way. But I don't think my mom doesn't poke. My mom doesn't poke nose.
No, when I mean not poke nose, but like see the way the auntie said something like I would be expecting my mom to be on smoke. Like
no, they will even say my sister.
That's what I'm saying.
I even told her.
Like I'm like you're meant to defend me because that's what I feel like the difference is with us. And we're always gonna ride out for our kids.
She even be like I even told her to drop it. The auntie would be like Alex, the way you're growing, no. You need to be skinny. You need to stop eating. Or you can't. You get bigger. And my mom like, I've even told her. She'll be eating at midnight on the phone
every day. Chinese pizza.
Yeah. And you know what used to piss me off is like my mom would be the one encouraging it when the auntie wasn't there. My mom would be like, "Oh, what do you want to eat? Let's go to KFC." But when the auntie, yes,
that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I mean. Like it's like it's like, but I feel like it's because obviously. They have to be on the same side as the auntie. We are on the receiving side.
It used to really upset me, And then they'll leave and mom like, oh, don't listen to that auntie. And you just like, but you were on the side. You were just, even joining her to even cuss me out.
But because of my younger brother, I won't lie though, I was really impressed with my mom when she gave me the go ahead to be rude to someone who's rude to me. I was chuffed, man. Yeah, man. I said, what? Because there was a man who she had sent me to go give something. And this guy was taking the piss, man. And I was like, brother, like, I'm, and my mom's friends were actually there also, so I couldn't really say something. So I go home and I said, listen, your man, and she goes, next time, let him know that he's taking the piss. I said, sorry, excuse me. Have you seen that Kevin Hart skit where he goes, my mom told me to tell you, basically when his mom told him to cuss out his teacher. So basically, and my mom said, tell him he's taking the piss. I said, like that. I was like, okay, yeah. Because my brother told her one day that she was rude. Ooh, it was cold, man.
Your mom or the auntie?
My mom. My brother told my mom.
My sister said that to my mom. Especially my youngest sister.
What I find funny is he said it to her, and then he was like, yeah, I'm not. I think she said she tried to threaten him like, yeah, don't eat my food or something. And it was like, yeah, anyways, I'm not in the house. I'm for like a week. He'd go out and just buy a chicken fillet roll and come home. But what I found weird was, this is what I used to leave at home. He'll stay in his room, and my mom, he wasn't talking to my mom or my sister. I don't know why my sister was also added to the situation. But obviously he was talking to me, and my mom would come to my room and she'd be whispering, is he talking to you? Like, I said, yeah, in your own house.
The younger ones, I don't know what kind of hybrids they are, because my youngest sister is like that. She doesn't care. Like, she will say whatever. And my mom was saying, like, my mom would call in saying what she said. I'm just like, I couldn't even say half of what she said to you. You fly kicking me out of, like, what? She'd be like, can you believe what she said to me? And I'm like, my sister walking, breathing, talking. Is my older sister. My older sister is my older sister, she's really small, so she doesn't look very threatening, but when she like gets angry, she'll call my younger sister and she'll threaten her. And I'm like, what is actually going on?
Also, your younger sister, your older sister,
we threaten my youngest sister. They both of them fight, and what's so funny? They both of them look just alike. It's just a height difference. My youngest sister looks just like my older sister.
Oh yeah.
So they just don't get along. So my mom will call me, but my mom knows me. Like, as I've grown old, she knows the kind of person I am. So she doesn't bring certain things because she knows that, especially if you provoke me, like, I will say what's on my mind. Like, sometimes she even tells some aunties, like, she's like, don't even say anything to her, because she will say something and she won't even listen to. So she doesn't bring that kind of energy to me, because she knows that, like, even my own family members, that aunties and uncles, like, she doesn't even bring, because she knows I'll cuss them out. But I won't. But my mom, she'd be like, I wouldn't cuss my mom out, but them I will. And she's like,
she's walking now.
But
quick one before I wrap up, right? Do you have this fear that if you clock, let's say at 30 or 32, and you're not married, like family friend people, like people like them that you used to, they're gonna use it against you? Would you care? Like, the way they'll be like, oh, how can she get husband when she doesn't have respect for ordinary us?
I don't, because people ask me that question too. Like, when it comes to pressure, we get married before you're 30. I don't feel that pressure even from my own mom.
No, not from
like not saying like that. So I wouldn't.
So you don't care.
I wouldn't care because my own mom doesn't even give me that kind of pressure.
So if you went to a party and the auntie goes, so when are we gonna see the ring?
Because even my own mom, my mom doesn't mention it because there was one time she just jokingly said it, and I said, look here, if you keep talking about it, you find out I got married on Instagram.
Aye.
I was like, so just keep. So she doesn't even mention it. She doesn't even mention it because she's like, sometimes she'd be stupid. Sometimes she'd be like,
you wouldn't even get the Zoom link.
She's like, let me just keep it here. Before this one get married, she'll not even let me know. I'm like, no, don't be bringing that kind of. So my mom would be kind of asking me more about like what I'm doing, like education wise and stuff, but she wouldn't be bringing that. But my stepdad would kind of be trying to mention, and my mom would be saying, don't, because she won't invite you.
You're not gonna get any invite.
So so if my own mom doesn't even make me feel that like that, I wouldn't even care what they say to me. And like some aunties would try to be style, be like, when are you getting married? And I just change the conversation because if you keep pressing the conversation, I'll ask you, where's your husband? Where's your own husband? Like, where's your own husband?
Oh man!
When we settle that one first, then we'll see when I'll get married. Do you know that's what we used to, before we go? Like that's what provokes me the most about this. People, yeah, they'll be giving you unnecessary advice and pressure, and you're just looking at their lives like
your home is in a shambles, auntie.
Your husband is spending 3 months in this country with you. Why don't you figure that one out first? Like,
oh man.
So, they'll be saying stuff like, if you can't cook, if you can't clean, your husband will leave you. But you cook and you clean and he's still not there. So which one is it then? So which one are we supposed to do? Like, I don't get it.
Anyway.
You serve your husband, he's not there. So which one is it?
You know what? I feel like the next time I'm gonna do a podcast with you, I'd love to I want to do something, right? I want to start bringing aunties and uncles on this. We just grew up with an auntie. not literally like on a, like, I feel like an auntie, I will obviously be an auntie who wants to hear our side of things. I'll be the ref anyways. And if it gets to a stage where you guys need to wear gloves, we might do a charity boxing fight. Would you be interested?
Do you know, I wouldn't, because you have to still, at the end of the day, these people are older and they're a little bit wiser. A little bit, not fully wise, a little bit.
I like the fact that you put the
a little bit wise. So you have to kind of, sometimes it's the way they say it, not they kind of say it out of concern for you, but it's just the way this kind of approach and but I think for me, how, like, in work, I work with all these like uncles and aunties and stuff, and there's always that respect thing, I'm all the same age as your mom, all this kind of stuff. But we're in a workplace environment, so
you don't call them aunties, you just say falake.
Yeah, I don't call anybody auntie or uncle in work.
Anyways, guys, that's all we have for this episode. I want to say thank you for coming. I can't wait to have you again, and I'm hoping I can get an auntie. Or I really feel like we need to have that conversation.
You want me to get cancelled?
No,
I've kept my opinions.
I've
kept my opinions very light.
Maybe we might not get the auntie. What I'll do is get questions from aunties that they want to ask young girls, like, people that are becoming the next generation of aunties.
I'm gonna be a cool auntie anyways, so whatevs.
Alex is like, I'm gonna be a cool auntie. I don't care what you say.
I'm gonna be a cool auntie. I'm gonna be the auntie everyone can call and talk to, and hide secrets from their parents. That's what I'm waiting for you.
Guys podcast.
I'm gonna be that auntie. So.